Alright, the recording is active. So, right, now you guys already know quite a number of basic commands, selection tools, and so on. We're going to go into something a bit more advanced. Alright, we're going to use loop cut tools, and then we're going to use those tools, right, to create a table. So what kind of table are we going to create? So before we start any modeling subject, right, we must always look for reference. So let's go online and look for a reference. Now the table that we are going to model is a very famous table. It's known as the IKEA leg table. IKEA, okay? Tomato, right? So click on images and you will see this table is very easy to model. Alright, in fact, even if I don't tell you, I don't show you all the new tools, right? Most of you should be able to model this just using a cube and extrusion tools. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a cube. Shift right mouse click and create cube. And obviously right now the cube doesn't have the surface area that I want, so I'm going to increase the surface area. So a couple of ways that you can do that. Of course, you can use scale. Grab the green square. The green square for the scale manipulator, right, restricts the scaling to only Z and X. Grab the green square and you can increase the surface area. Now, problem with this is that we will have a scaling problem over here. 10, 1, 10. Now, you guys know what happened when you have a scaling problem like this. If I were to parent an object, I just want to demonstrate to you all quickly. If I want to parent an object to this cube right now, the problem is that when I try to animate it, right, there'll be a lot of distortion. Alright, I'm going to increase the height, then I will move this pivot point right to the end like this. Let's say I want to parent this. Select this child first, then shift select this and then press parent. And when I rotate, what will happen? It will distort, right? Because it is inheriting the bad scale from the parent. So we need to do what? Anyone, can you still remember? Yes, alright. So I want to get rid of the rotation of this cylinder. Select the main object and freeze. Now, the freeze shortcut is over here. Right, you'll be using this freeze quite a lot. For all the objects you model, right, you always want to ensure that the final scale is 1, 1, 1. Please remember this. This is like a cardinal rule. Your scale must be, XYZ must be 1, 1, 1. So click on freeze transformation. Now when you click on this freeze, it's going to reset not only the scale but also the translate and rotate as well. So now if I rotate the cylinder, it is fine. It's inheriting the correct scale. Right, just a quick reminder for this. Alright, so now we have reset the scale. Now I want to show you another way that I will create my tabletop. So rather than scaling and then fixing the scale, under the polygon cube input, I can change by restricting the height and the depth, the width and the depth. So select the width, hold down the control and left mouse click the depth, and middle mouse click and click on the right, and I can still change. Oh, not this one, width and depth. Then middle mouse click and drag. You can see I can change as well. And the good thing about this method is that I do not affect the scale at all. So I just want to show you these two different methods. Okay, now I'm going to delete away this table. This cube. And since this is going to be a table, I'm going to take the opportunity to go over to the outliner here and then double click on the name and change it to table. Wrong spelling, T-A-B-L-E. Okay, so now how do we get the legs out from this? Now we can model 4 slender legs and then put it underneath or merge the pieces together, but I want to extrude the legs out from this. So in order to do that, right, we have to subdivide this this cube. Now you can go over to the cube here and then apply subdivisions like that. Alright, and then extrude. But this is not a very efficient way to create the table. So we're going to use a tool that you guys will probably be using the first time. That is the multi-cut tool. You'll be using this tool quite a lot. So select the cube. Alright, right mouse click and then go to face selection mode. You can see everything is a bit yellow. If you see a bit of yellow, that means my soft selection is still on. I'm going to press B. Now this is the correct color. Move your cursor over to the face that you want to cut. holding down the shift and holding down the right mouse button, and then go to your 9 o'clock. Now you always hear me talk about 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. This is what I'm talking about. I'm referring to the clock face when I'm pointing the direction. So 9 o'clock is multi-cut. So if you go over to multi-cut, right, you notice your cursor has changed into a knife tool. Now, you will see that it also intelligently snaps to vertices, so to initiate your first cut. You can go over to any edge, left mouse click, and then start to cut any shape you want, and you will create this weird shape. To finish a cut, you press enter. And now I have a weird face, right, that I can extrude out. But you notice that my cursor still remains in the cutting mode. That means I'm still in the cutting tool mode. Remember this, a lot of students forget about this. If you want to get out of cutting mode, press Q to go back to selection mode. So now I can select this face here, I can extrude it out, I can come out with a weird face. But this is not what I want. I want to cut in a straight line, so I'm going to press Z until I get back to my original state. So what I really want to do is to cut parallel lines or loops, right? Loop cuts around these angles so that I have 4 more faces on the corners that I can extrude. Alright, to do that, okay, hover over the face that you want to cut, hold down the shift, right mouse click and hold. Okay, make sure you hold down the shift and right mouse button and choose multi-cut again. But this time, I want to hold down another key. The key is Control. Watch what happens when I press Control. It changes into loop cut mode. Right, so it cuts a edge loop across the cube. So I'm going to move the loop cut right to the end. Now, in order to have equal spacing, not only do I want to hold down Control, I also want to hold down Shift. If you hold down the Shift, now it goes into snapping mode. So you'll go to 10%, 20%. So we want to cut at 10% here. Then we want to cut that 90% here. Then 90% or 10% here. And then finally, you can look at the number, not 20%, but 10% here. So now we have evenly cut and formed 4 additional faces at the bottom. Now, to get out of the knife mode, can anybody remember how do I get out of knife cutting mode? Press what? Press Q. Yes, very good. Now, hold down to Alt, left mouse click and drag down to look at the bottom and select the bottom faces. Then you can use Ctrl E to extrude, or my favorite method, Shift right mouse click and drag to 6 o'clock and then drag the feet down. And we have created our IKEA leg table. So that will be your first assignment. Now, I'm going to create this table first. Okay, I know some of you will complete this very quickly. So I want to make this table look a bit fancier. So go over to the face and using the selection tool that I just showed you, select one face, Shift, select adjacent face, we can extrude. Alright, so Shift right mouse click, extrude face, pull along the blue arrow line. Now if you pull the face to extrude, right, you create a rounded edge like that. So I'm going to undo that. If you want straight corners, you will use the thickness control here. Move the cursor over the text, left mouse clicks and drag to the right, and you will create a overhang for the table. Alright, once you're done with this, you can go back to object mode. Now take note, I think next week we're going to go more into detail on subdivision. If you press number 3, your table is going to look like a mess, like that. Alright, but some of you might like it this way, but if you want the original table, just press 1 and you come back to this. Press Alt 5 to show your wireframe, your topology. Then I'm going to switch over to my front view, select the table, press W and make sure that the feet is lying at the ground level. Switch back to perspective view and then your table is done. So I want everybody to recreate this table right now. Okay, I will stop the video.